1220 AD. The smoke over Samarkand chokes the sun. There is no screaming left, only the rhythmic grinding of heavy wooden wheels on stone. This is the reality of what Genghis Khan brought to the women he conquered, a silence louder than the siege. They are not merely captives, they are currency in an empire built on motion. The great Khan's generals inspect the lines, looking for high birth and skilled hands. A strip of fine blue silk, once a mark of Khwarezmian royalty, is now just a bandage bound around a wrist to hide a bruise. This was not random cruelty. It was a calculated biological engine. The world believes these lineages ended here, dissolved into the Mongol steppe. But records suggest a different, darker purpose was at work. A systematic rewriting of the future that demanded an irreversible cost, the total extinction of their past names. To be chosen was not to be saved. If you enjoy these dark histories, leave a like and subscribe and comment below where you're listening from. And now, back to the story. The march moves north, a snake of ox carts and cavalry stretching across the steppe. The stone walls of Khwarezm are gone, replaced by an endless ocean of grass that swallows all direction. There are no iron shackles here because the geography itself is the prison. To run is to die of exposure under the open sky. The Mongol institution of the Ordo is precise. Uyghur scribes sit on wagons, cataloging the human spoils with dry efficiency. They do not write down the names these women bore in Samarkand or Nishapur. They record them as assets, categorized by lineage and fertility. Change beat. The hierarchy abruptly shifts. The daughters of Shahs are stripped of their fine linens and dressed in the heavy, grease-smeared felt of the nomad. They are told they are now wives of the golden family. This is the mercy offered, a place at the high table, warmth against the biting wind, and the protection of the Borjigan clan. But the price is hidden in the offer. To accept the warmth is to agree that their previous husbands and sons are dust. They must share a bed with the architects of their family's extinction. Internal micro-hook, survival requires killing the person you used to be. Inside the mobile city of yurts, the air smells of mutton fat and dried dung smoke. A quiet resistance begins, not with weapons, but with silence. A woman fingers the shred of blue silk sewn into the lining of her new coat. She does not weep, she listens. She learns the guttural language of her captors, observing the political fractures between the Khan's sons. She teaches the Mongol children the songs of her burning city, disguising them as harmless lullabies. It is a dangerous preservation of history, right under the nose of the conqueror. Change beat. A new decree arrives from the center of the camp. The mercy tightens further. The women are not just to be wives, they are to be administrators. Their literacy, once a luxury, is now state property. They are handed ledgers to manage the logistics of the armies that raised their homes. It is a cruel paradox. They are given power, but only to strengthen the cage that holds them. The captive is metabolized by the empire. The cage has no lock because it has no door. The condition of their survival is no longer implicit. It is spoken aloud in the court of Karakoram. The women are not merely required to bear the sons of the golden family. They are required to raise them as the destroyers of their own people. This is the ultimate test. A Khwarezmian princess must look into the face of her child, see the eyes of the man who burned her city, and teach that child to draw a bow against her own ghosts. Change beat. The pressure shifts from physical survival to spiritual annihilation. The shamans sprinkle mare's milk to the eternal blue sky, demanding the women renounce the god of the minarets or the temples of the east. There is no torture chamber, only the crushing weight of expectation. Food is withheld, not from the women, but from their children, until the mothers perform the rites of the steppe. The choice is absolute: starve the future or poison the past. One woman, holding a heavy iron seal of authority, stands before a map of the Western campaigns. She is asked to identify the weak points in the walls of a city she once called home. The generals wait. The silence stretches, filled only by the crackle of the hearth fire. She does not weep or beg. She looks at the map, her finger tracing the riverline. The wall is weakest at the water gate, she says. It is a cold refusal of loyalty to her past, spoken to save the son sleeping in the cradle behind her. She gives them the city to keep the bloodline alive. Internal micro-hook. To save the root, you must burn the branches. Change beat. But the intent of the institution begins to invert. The Khan sought to dilute the blood of conquered kings, to break their legacy by scattering it into the Mongol gene pool. Instead, the discipline required to survive the Ordo turns these women into the spine of the empire. They were chosen for their breeding, but they are valued for their minds. The Mongol warrior fights, the captured queen rules. They take control of the silk trade, the distribution of spoils, and the diplomatic letters. A hesitation breaks the rhythm. A scribe dips a brush into black ink to record a tribute payment. Her hand stops, hovering over the parchment. She holds her breath, eyes fixed on a name in the ledger. A cousin, perhaps, or a brother, listed as a slave in a distant camp. She does not write his name. She alters the figure, diverting grain to his sector. It is a microscopic rebellion. The why is revealed. Genghis did not just want their bodies. He wanted to consume the cut, the heavenly charisma and administrative sophistication of the civilizations he crushed. The price is that the women become the very engine that sustains their captors. They are no longer prisoners. They are the architects of a house built on their own bones. The test was never whether they would break, but whether they could become something terrifyingly new. Power is not given. It is metabolized from grief. Decades later, the wind still howls over the unmarked graves of the Khans. But inside the silk-walled palaces of the regents, the atmosphere has hardened. In the flicker of tallow candles, a woman, now a Khatun with silver in her hair, unlocks a cedar chest. She pulls out the blue silk, no longer a scrap of desperation, but a template. She does not speak. She threads a needle with gold wire. With precise, practiced movements, she stitches a symbol into the lining of the royal dell intended for the next great Khan. It is not a wolf or a falcon. It is a geometric flower, the specific design from the tile work of a destroyed mosque in Samarkand. It is a wordless right of memory, a claim of ownership sewn directly onto the body of the ruler. The boy who wears this will rule the world, but he will wear the art of a dead city against his skin. Change beat. The dynamic has fully inverted. The rough horsemen who rode out of the steppes are dead, replaced by sons raised in the laps of Persian, Turkic, and Christian mothers. The Yaza law remains, but the hand that holds the seal is manicured. Historians and archaeologists excavating the foundations of Karakoram have found tiles, silver coins, and weavings that do not belong to the steppe. They belong to the very cultures Act 1 claimed were erased. Internal microhook. The prisoner eventually designs the prison. The contradiction is buried in the administrative records found in the Vatican archives and fragmented Persian chronicles. They describe Mongol queens, conquered women, issuing decrees that protected their ancestral lands, funding temples, and shielding their distant kin from taxation. Act 1 assumed the women were absorbed to extinguish their history. The truth is the opposite. They absorbed the Mongol dynasty to preserve their own. They did not just survive the conquest, they co-opted it. The biological engine Genghis created did not breed the culture out of them. It bred their culture into the bloodline of the Golden Family. The cost was not paid by the conquered, but by the conqueror whose pure nomadic legacy was diluted by the sophisticated, iron-willed women he dragged from the ruins. The empire is just a ghost wearing their clothes. The great wooden wheels that crush the stone of Samarkand have stopped turning. They lie rotting in the high grass of the Orkhan Valley, dissolving back into the earth. The ledgers of the Ordo are closed. In the official chronicles of the Yuan dynasty and the Ilkhanati, the specific names of these women often vanish, replaced by the cold, honorific title of Khatun. The ink has dried, and the page is blank where the person used to be. Travelers pass the mounds of earth that were once palaces. They hear the wind whistling through the scrub. It sounds like a voice, but there are no words, only the low hum of a song from a city burned 500 years ago, carried in the throat of a herdsman who does not know what he sings. The blue silk is dust, the bruises are gone, the irreversible cost was paid in full. The identity was erased, but the empire that stands on top of it is shaped by the very things it tried to bury. The conqueror is dead. The mothers are the earth itself. Subscribe, hit the bell, and like. The history you cannot read is the one that owns you.